Hi there. I greet you from sunny McKinney, Irma Spain here, and I'm just gonna, as always, give it a quick minute here to just get a little bit of an audience going. Today I'm in my car. I'm just waiting before we take off to the gym today, and yep, I'm back in the gym. So, hi Shirley. And I want to share with you today a question or a thought about the difference on being interested or committed. And maybe you don't think about it that much, and what is the difference in that, or how does it affect us in our day-to-day life? But it makes a really, really big difference. Think about it this way. Hi Patty, hi Chelsea, hi Rowena, good to see you. So I want you to think about it this way. Think about the time in your life where you maybe wanted to make some lifestyle changes, whether it's losing weight, maybe it's just getting into shape, or, just making some lifestyle changes. And you can be interested all your life and never ever make a real change. Or you can commit to the process and actually do it. And there's a big difference, because being interested means that you show an interest in doing something. So for example, someone that wants to go to the Olympic Games, and whether it's a swimmer or a runner or whatever, and let's just say that they're really interested in that, but they're not going to commit to it. Their day-to-day life is going to look very different between a person that is committed versus that is interested. And I've seen that in January offering this whole detox group. Some people watched me in December go through my own personal detox, and they got very interested. They're watching me and they're like, gosh, this looks like amazing. It looks like something that I could do. And they joined the group with their interest, but then probably 90% didn't commit. They didn't commit to the process. And why is that? And that's the question here today. Why do people not go from the stage of being interested to committing to the process? And here's what I believe. First, I think it's a level of fear of change. How many of you would agree with me? I'm just afraid of the change, and I don't know if I want to get uncomfortable. I'm kind of in a place where, I don't really like how I feel, how I look, but I'm not miserable enough to make changes. And then there's people that are simply not really yet in enough pain to make a change. And I think we are in a society today where unless you're like bleeding on your last breath, I'm not going to make a change. Until you hear the diagnosis of cancer, ma'am, cancer, sir, we're not going to make a change. Diabetes, heart disease, all of these diagnoses, and until you hear that, you're kind of like, I'm going to be a little bit miserable, but I'm not going to be in the place where I'm going to commit to something. And my whole thing is, you guys, 10 years ago, before I decided to start this business that I'm part of in the wellness industry, I said no for 9 months because we weren't miserable enough. We were still able to pay our bills. We were still kind of scraping by. But by the time October 2006 came around, you guys, we were facing, for the first time in our lives, not being able to pay our bills. And so at that point, I got extremely uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that I was willing to commit to something that would get me to do something different that I wasn't really ready to do. So here's my question for you guys. Are you just comfortably in your situation right now, comfortable enough but not uncomfortable enough yet to make some changes? And you're wondering, I want to do something different. I want to earn more money. I want to get healthier. But what is stopping you from actually committing to the process? What is the stopping point? Ask yourself that question really deep down. Is it fear? Is it the feeling of the unknown? Is it that you're not motivated enough? What is stopping you from going from interested to committed? Big, big difference. I never ask people when I sit down and I present wellness on a budget to them, are you interested? I always ask, are you committed to making a lifestyle change? Because if you are, then I will walk alongside of you and I'm going to be your coach and I'm going to help you. But here's the thing, guys. If someone is just interested, I've been interested in many things. And so here's what a person does. They're interested. They might watch a video. They might even pick up some material to read about it. But it's all on the other side. It's all about watching the other people actually doing the lifestyle change that you want. So you're reading about them. You're studying people. You're watching their shows. You're doing all the things, but actually committing to doing it yourself. In today's world, in America, I don't think anybody has an excuse to not better their life. With the social media that we have, with the access we have to trainings, training, online books, free classes. I mean, for crying out loud, Facebook Live, there's so much out there that we can take it into our own hands and say, you know what? I want to change my life. I am the CEO of my life. Nobody's going to come to your door today and say, you know what? You're so miserable. You can't pay your bills. You really need to change your life. Now, you might get extra bills in the mail with like red letters on them, and people will demand things from you, but nobody's going to demand from you to change your life. So at the end of the day, only you can decide whether or not you're going to make those changes. And I think it comes down to this. You have to change your perspective from being interested versus committing. The person that wants to get to the Olympic Games, guess what they do? They are in the pool when nobody's watching. They're swimming when their body is hurting. They're doing all these things when nobody else is paying attention. They're doing the stuff when other people are out doing fun things. And guess what? At the end of that 4 years worth of training, they're going to get to the place, they're going to get to the Olympics, and they might win their life dream gold medal. But you see, the person that is just interested about getting to the games, do you think they're going to get in the pool when they're miserable? They're going to go work out when things are hurting on their body, when, all their friends are going out and having fun and they have to be back at the swimming pool and working out hard? Of course they're not going to do that. So the question here is this. Today, you got to ask yourself, am I just interested in changing my life? Or am I finally ready to commit to the process to changing my life? Because life change doesn't happen overnight, you guys. It happens with the process. And I think the problem is when we talk about goal setting and when we ask people to set goals, whether it's in health, in weight, or in business, people think about the end result. They think about the Mount Everest on the top of the mountain and seeing themselves there. But here's the thing that I'm going to tell you is this. You have to not just commit to your goal. You actually have to commit to the process. And the process is painful. The process to change is painful. You guys, I have never heard a successful person say, you know what? The whole process to success was a piece of cake. It was a walk in the park. No, it happens with motivation every day. It happens with pain. It happens with suffering. It happens with joy. It happens with all of those emotions. But the problem is this, you guys. Too very few people coach on the process. They focus so much on the start and on the end. Where I teach my team and people that are really engaging with me, whether it is in the wellness area or in the business area, I teach people to commit to the process. And the process is daily. It is 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 year at a time. And you guys, you can't just focus on the end result. You've got to focus on the process. And here's the question. Will you change today? Will you take your focus from, I can't do this, I cannot see myself there, I cannot see myself being out of debt, I have $30,000 in debt, I don't know what that ever is going to look like. Guys, guess what? 10 years ago, when I started my business, we were $54,000 in debt. Yes, $54,000 in debt, and no one else were to blame but us. We did stupid with a lot of zeros on the end of it. And we had to commit to the process of getting out of debt. So what we did, we made the commitment, we committed to the process, and then we created a plan. And the plan was a daily choice. So when you do all that, When you start at the end and you walk yourself backwards and you commit to the process, you guys, that's when change really happens. It only took us 2 years. You guys, 2 years of complete commitment, working hard, adding another full-time income to our family's budget, but saying no to everything else. We said no to everything else until the debt was paid for. Was it easy? Absolutely not. It was the hardest 11 months that we walked through. And our children, they knew they couldn't ask for anything because the answer was no. But we committed as a family. You know what? It was amazing when we all called Dave Ramsey with our debt-free scream. 2 years. That could have been a lifetime of misery. You guys, when we don't commit to change, we choose the default pain. By doing the commitment, you're choosing the short-term pain. The default pain is a lot worse to live in because it takes a lifetime. And then at the end of that road, you wake up with a lot of regret. And that is something I have chosen not to be part of. I will never live with regret. I will go out there, I will set goals, I will commit to the process, and I know I will fail along the way, but I know I will also succeed along the way. But one thing is for sure, at the end of my life, I will never know what regret looks like because I live life to the fullest, I embrace it, and I teach others how to do it as well. Until next time, you guys, remember, you're all made for greatness. Don't ever, ever forget that and commit to the process. Thanks, guys.